Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narot Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So as we promised yesterday, that today we'll discuss the pastimes and the glories of Lord Nityananda. So Lord Nityananda, as we yesterday celebrated his appearance day. So Lord Nityananda is Balramji himself. Balramji comes in the pastime of Krishna as Krishna Balram, and pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes as Lord Nityananda. So Nityananda, the name itself means always, the one who is always in bliss. Bliss of devotional service, bliss of love for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and in the bliss of distributing that love. Not just distributing that love freely without considering the qualifications or non-qualifications of people. That is mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. And he is in so much of bliss and so much of mood of distributing that love for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that first of all, as you said, he doesn't consider anybody's qualifications or non-qualifications and how fallen that person is. And that is why before Prabhupada, the deities that were installed by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the 64 Gaudiya Mercy established, he installed the deity of Gaur, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Radha Krishna on the same altar. Because Lord Chaitanya is Radha and Krishna combined, and without the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one cannot get mercy of Radha and Krishna. But Srila Prabhupada, when he came to the West and saw the fallen conditions of the people in the West, and obviously in India also people are not that great either, so he decided to install the deities of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu separately on the separate altar. Because Nityananda Prabhu is Balramji, so he cannot be on the same altar as Radha and Krishna. Radha Rani cannot be there. So separate altar for Gaur Nitai. And it was the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu that makes one eligible to get mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then one gets a Krishna and Radha Krishna Prem. So without Nityananda Prabhu's mercy, we cannot make progress. We just can't. And it is also explained that just like Balramji is first expansion of Krishna. And also he is the Adi Guru. Of course, they are considered two Adi Gurus, two original Gurus. One is Balramji and one is Srimati Radharani. So those who go through Balramji, they have a different mode of service. Those who go through Radharani, they have different mode of service. But so similarly, since Nityananda Prabhu is expansion of Balramji, he is also considered Adi Guru. But his mood of teaching his disciples is purely merciful. That's it. Just like if we know when the war of Mahabharata was declared, so both Duryodhan and Arjun, they went to Krishna to ask for help. And Duryodhan got the army of Krishna, and Arjun got Krishna himself, and Krishna said, I will not take up any weapon in the war. And then they asked Balramji. But Balramji said, no, this is war between brothers and I don't want to take anybody's side. So I'll not participate in this war. And Balramji went for pilgrimage. So while going for pilgrimage, he came to Naimisharanya, where Romharshan Sutta was sitting down and he was preaching on Srimad Bhagavatam, giving lecture on Srimad Bhagavatam to 88,000 sages. And when Balramji entered that meeting, Romharshan Sutta, he was sitting on Vyasasana, and he saw Balramji coming, and all the sages got up and they paid obeisances to Balramji. They knew the position of Balramji, who's Balramji. But Romharshan Sutta, he was proud of his position and his knowledge, and proud of his sitting at Vyasasana, representing Vyasadeva. He did not get up and pay obeisances to Balramji. So Balramji got so angry at him because Balramji is Adi Guru. He had to set a right example. And he said, you are speaking on the message of Srimad Bhagavatam, and you have learned yourself everything, all the Vedas you have learned from Vyasadeva. But your speaking is like an actor who memorizes his dialogues and he's playing his part. He doesn't have any realizations. And Balramji said, you're not fit to sit on this asana. And to punish him, Balramji just touched him with the kushagrass, with just the tip of kushagrass, and that killed him, killed Romharshan Sutta. And then we know how Sutta Goswami got mercy of Balramji. His son was Romharshan Sutta, but he got the mercy of Balramji. Then he carried on with this narration of Srimad Bhagavatam. But that was the mood of Balramji. And he killed so many demons in his pastimes along with Krishna. But same Balramji, when he comes as Nityananda Prabhu, he is so merciful. He doesn't kill anybody. In fact, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to kill somebody, Jagai Madhai, he got so angry at Jagai Madhai, he wanted to kill them. Nityananda Prabhu fell down at his lotus feet and begged him not to kill. He said, you have come in this avatar not to kill anybody. You have come to kill only their demonic consciousness. So this is the mood of Nityananda Prabhu. So merciful. And no matter how fallen we are, we all get mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. So Nityananda Prabhu, he appeared about 32 years before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. Just like even in Krishna Leela, Krishna appeared before that, Balramji appeared, and before that all the other associates of Krishna appeared in Gokul and Vrindavan, Mathura. And similarly here also, all the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started appearing in Navadvip. And Nityananda Prabhu appeared 32 years before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. And he appeared in a village called Ekchakra in Radhadesh in West Bengal. And this Ekchakra village is also famous from the time of Mahabharata, when Pandavas were in exile. After Duryodhana and party tried to kill them by putting fire on that palace made of flax. So they went as Brahmins, and they went all over, and they also spent some time in this Ekchakra. And this is where Bhima killed Bakasur. So anyway, so far we haven't had opportunity to go to Ekchakragram maybe someday. So they lived a wonderful Brahmin named Hadai Pandit, and he had a wife, Padmavati. And Nityananda Prabhu appeared in their house as his son, and he was so beautiful and so adorable, and he was just the life of Hadai Pandit and Padmavati. They wouldn't even let him go away from their eyesight, just even for a second. And as Nitai grew up, he was a little boy, and he would get together with other boys of the village, and they would just play. They would play so much, and what their plays would be, they would just enact different pastimes of Krishna and Ram and other incarnations. In fact, it is said, there are pictures of it also. In Ekchakragram, there were 2 trees, and these boys, they were playing, they were jumping from one tree to another, and they were having difficulty jumping from one tree to another. So what did Nitai do? He just pushed the 2 trees together. So the roots are far, but they are just grown towards each other. So the boys can jump from one tree to another, and those trees are still there. And sometimes they will make snake out of leaves, and then they play the pastime of Kaliya, Krishna jumping on Kaliya, and Krishna killing a Bakasur, Aghasur, Vatsasur, Krishna lifting the Govardhan hill. They would have wonderful pastimes. And all the villagers, they will be like surprised. Now, how do you know all these pastimes? Because you haven't even gone to the school yet. And Nitai would say, oh, these are my pastimes. And nobody would understand what he is talking about. But they would just laugh and just enjoy their games. So one day, Nityananda Prabhu or Nitai, they enacted the drama of the war in Sri Lanka. And Ravan, some boy played the role of Ravan, and Ravan came in the war, and he shot that Shakti Shela at Lakshman, and Lakshman just went down unconscious. And Nitai was playing the role of Lakshman. Because he was Balramji is Lakshman. So he really went down unconscious. So all the boys, they gathered around, they were crying, and hearing their crying, all the elders also came, and they were also crying. What happened to Nitai? And everybody was in anxiety. Why is he unconscious? And everybody was crying. And then one boy, and then the elders started asking, what happened here? Oh, we were just doing the play, and then one boy remembered, oh, actually he told us before, he told us that he will be unconscious, and the Hanuman, who the boy was playing Hanuman, he should do all the stuff. He should get that Vaidya from Sri Lanka, and then the Vaidya is going to tell, go get the Sanjeevani booty, and then this boy, actually, he was also bewildered, but then he remembered this is what he was supposed to do, and he went, and then the mountain, he brought that herb, and as soon as Nitai smelled that herb, he came back to his consciousness. But the whole play was really so real that everybody was bewildered. But this is how they were playing. So anyway, every day these kind of plays would go on, and everybody would enjoy. And Hadai Pandit and Padmavati would really enjoy the pastimes of Nitai, and they would not even let him go away from their sight. So one day a sannyasi came to their house, and Hadai Pandit, being a Brahman, he welcomed sannyasi, and he fed him nicely. And when the sannyasi was leaving, he asked Hadai Pandit that, would you give me um, some alms, some donation, some charity? Hadai Pandit said, yes, whatever you ask. Sannyasi said that I am going to go to the pilgrimage all over India, and I don't have a servant with me. And by that time, Nitai was almost, I don't know exactly how old was he, but I think he was maybe 9, 10 years old or 12 years old. It was Nitai's desire now to leave the house because he knew Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gauranga has already appeared. And so very soon he's going to start his Sankirtan Leela, and he wanted to join him after a while. So Sannyasi asked Hadai Pandit, give me your boy and I want to take him with me. And I'll train him also, and I'll take care of him and let him serve me. So we can only imagine how Hadai Pandit must have felt, because just like Dasharat Maharaj, when Vishwamitra Muni came and he took Ram and Lakshmana away, although he took Ram and Lakshmana away only for a few months, it wasn't a whole lot of time, but being so attached to Ram, Dasharat Maharaj was heartbroken. And similarly here, Hadai Pandit was now what to do. And he asked his wife, and wife said, whatever you decide, it's fine with me. So finally, Hadai Pandit, in the morning, he let go. He said, okay, you take Nitai away. And then when the sannyasi was taking Nitai away, and he was walking, and villagers found out, and they came running, and they fell down at the feet of sannyasi. And somebody said, why are you taking this boy? You take my boy. My boys are not good for anything. So you take my boy. Leave Nitai here. And somebody said, I'll come with you. Leave Nitai over here. But sannyasi was, no, I have to take Nitai. And then they started walking, and afterwards other villagers came, and they went, and they could not even find the sannyasi or Nitai anywhere, even on the pathway. They just left. So from there, Ek Chakra, sannyasi and Nitai, they went to different places, and afterwards, actually, Nitai left his company and he went on his own, and he went to all over India, all the places, all the holy places, whether it is Jagannath Puri or Tirumala or South Rameshwaram, Kanchipuram, or it is in Dwarka or Hastinapur also, Delhi also he came, Kurukshetra, Ayodhya, Vrindavan, all these places he went. He went to Jagannath Puri also, as I said, and seeing his own deity as Balramji, he was like that. He was laughing over there. And then finally he came to Vrindavan. So 20 years he traveled. He just traveled all over. And then finally he came to Vrindavan, and then in Vrindavan, he just stayed at, there's a place called Shringarvat. That's where he stayed. And his staying over there was like, he would not eat anything, and if somebody would come and give him something to eat. And otherwise he would be just absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna and Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And he would be just in the complete ecstasy, complete ananda. And actually he was waiting for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to start his Sankirtan pastime so that he can go and join in those pastimes. And while waiting, it is also mentioned that although he is Adi Guru, but he did not preach. He did not start preaching. Why? Because he was waiting for the orders of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That he was showing it to everybody that without the orders, And without the strength given by Mahaprabhu or Guru or God, one cannot preach. Even Nityananda Prabhu himself did not start preaching. So when he realized that Mahaprabhu has started his Sankirtan pastimes, so he just left Vrindavan and went to Navadvip. In Navadvip, he went to the house of Nandanacharya, and this house of Nandanacharya is not far from ISKCON temple, ISKCON Mayapur. And he just stayed there. So one day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, while performing a Sankirtan pastime at the house of Srivas Thakur, he said, he called all the devotees and he said, well, last night I had a wonderful dream. And in that dream, a very wonderful personality came wearing blue clothes, riding on a wonderful chariot, and he was carrying a plow and a gada or a club. And then he knocked at my door and he was looking. He was asking, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? I'm looking for Krishna. So Mahaprabhu said, well, some wonderful personality has come to Navadvip. So Haridas Thakur and Srivas Acharya, you go and look for that. They both went all over Navadvip, but they could not find anybody, any wonderful personality that Mahaprabhu was talking about. So they came back and told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that we did not find anybody. And Gaurang Mahaprabhu said, well, this is Nitai, he's just hiding himself. So he said, okay, let's all go and we'll have Kirtan and we'll go to Nandanacharya's house. They all went doing Kirtan and they went there. And then first time Nityananda Prabhu saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he just went into complete ecstasy. First his soul, he was stunned. He was like, did not say anything, did not move, and he was continuously just looking at the beauty, at the face of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu reached there, Mahaprabhu was, say something, or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was saying, say something, but he would not even move. And then Mahaprabhu asked everybody to start chanting. And then devotees were chanting and dancing. And then Nityananda Prabhu came to his consciousness and he embraced Mahaprabhu and they both started to chant and dance. So this was his love for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then they had wonderful kirtan. Then finally they came to the house of Srivas Thakur, and then Mahaprabhu said, you will stay here. So Nityananda Prabhu was staying at the house of Srivas Thakur, and every evening they would have kirtan over there. But even at the house of Srivas Thakur, Nityananda Prabhu would have completely been ecstatic love for Mahaprabhu. He would perform pastimes without even knowing that what he was doing. And he would treat Srivas Thakur's wife Malini as his mother. and one day Malini Devi, she was every morning she would make arrangements for Srivas Thakur to do his puja. So she was cleansing the utensils. One crow came and he picked up that water pot and he just flew away. And Malini was crying, give that water pot back, give the water. But the crow just took off. So Malini was crying and Nityananda Prabhu came over there. Nityananda Prabhu asked, what happened, mother? She said, oh, this crow came and he took the water pot, and Srivas Thakur will be upset because he wants everything for the puja. So Nityananda Prabhu just looked towards the direction of the crow with the crow, and he said, crow, you bring the water pot back. And crow brought the water pot back. and he dropped it at Malini, where Malini was standing. And Malini was, how did you do that? And she thought, well, you and Krishna could bring back the dead sons of Sandeepni Muni. So what's so difficult for you to tell a crow to bring the water pot back? But these were the wonderful pastimes of Nityananda Prabhu. And once Chaitanya Mahaprabhu once took him to his house and he met Mother Shachi Devi. And Shachi Devi saw Nityananda Prabhu and Mahaprabhu said, well, this is your another son, Mother. So Shachi Devi would also treat him like his boy. And that's Yashoda Maiya and Balramji's relationship. So one day, Shachi Devi, he was telling Gaurang Mahaprabhu that, I saw a weird, very strange dream last night. So Mahaprabhu said, what did you see? She said, you and Nitai, you had come to my house, to this house, and both were like 5-year-old boys, and you were sitting down, and I was cooking for you too, but then you two went inside the house to our altar, and Nitai picked up the deity of Krishna, and you picked up the deity of Balaram, and then you both came out with the deities, and 4 of you, deities were also talking, and 4 of you were fighting. And the Krishna Balram was saying, oh, who are you two with everything that is in this house, all the sandesh and all the makhan and everything, that is ours. And Nitai was fighting with them that, no, your time is up. Your cowherd boys' time is up. Now is the time for Brahmins, and we are the Brahmins, and everything in this house belongs to us. And you guys were fighting, and then there was this sandesh and makhan, and then you were feeding each other and also taking away from each other. There's so much of fight was going on. Shaji Mata said, Gaurang, what is the meaning of all this? I don't understand. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, well, it looks like your deities, the Krishna Balram deities that you have, they are really Bhagwan. And looks like Nitai wants to come here for lunch. That's why he is giving you these dreams. And also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, well, now I know that all the things that we offer to our deities, they really eat. Otherwise, so far I was thinking that your daughter-in-law, she eats it all. So daughter-in-law Lakshmi Priya was inside and she was laughing, smiling. No, not Lakshmi, it was Vishnu Priya. So Vishnu Priya was inside and she was smiling. What is he talking about? But anyway, so Nityananda Prabhu was called for lunch, and Mahaprabhu told Nitai that Nitai, don't do any mischief here. Sachimata is calling for lunch. Don't do any mischief over there. And Nitai is completely in love for Gaurang. He said, mischief? I don't do any mischief. What mischief I have done? I am a Brahman. And Mahaprabhu was laughing, and this is how they spend their times. And one day, I'm just fast forwarding. There are so many beautiful pastimes of Nitai. So one day, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called Haridas Thakur and Nityananda Prabhu that now we have to spread the message of Krishna to everybody, every town and village. So you two should make up a team and go and preach to everybody and ask them to chant the holy names of Krishna, think of Krishna, worship Krishna, and make your life perfect. And in the evening, you come back and give me the report. So, okay, so it was Mahaprabhu's order. So they both went. And they both were going to different houses and knocking at the door and telling everybody to chant the name of Krishna, think of Krishna, worship Krishna. And sometimes people would welcome them, but sometimes people would just not even look at them or not even open the door. And sometimes they would say, oh, these two are thieves and they have come here to steal our goods. So, and sometimes people would just chase them away. Even imagine Nityananda Prabhu, Balramji Haridas Thakur, who's Brahmaji, even they had hard time preaching. But Nitai being Nitai, they would just go away if somebody didn't want to talk to them, and they would just laugh and go away. And one day, they saw these two brothers, Jagai and Madhai, who were so sinful, and they were drunkards. There was not a sin that they had not committed. Every day they would commit sins, drinking and raping and plundering, and even the Qazi was afraid of them. They were so powerful, and they had so many people up with them, and even the Qazi was afraid. Police could not do anything to them, and they would just burn somebody's house and throw it in Ganges, and just steal everybody's money or rape their girls or women every day. And Nityanand Prabhu and Haridas Thakur were walking by, and they were Jagai and Madhai. They were making so much of scene, and Nityanand Prabhu thought that if these two brothers, if they start chanting the names of Krishna, then the purpose of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appearance will be completely fulfilled, and his name as and his glories of Patit Pavan definitely will be spread far and wide. So with that mood, Nityanand Prabhu went to Jagai and Madhai and asked them, "Oh, my brothers, chant the names of Krishna. Think of Krishna, talk of Krishna." And Jagai and Madhai, they were drunk, and they got angry at Nityanand Prabhu. And who are you to tell us to chant the names of Krishna? Get out of here, go away, run away. And they said, if you stay here, we'll beat you up. And Jagai and Madhai started running after Nityanand Prabhu and Haridas Thakur. And Haridas Thakur and Nityanand Prabhu, they were running, and Jagai and Madhai was following them, running. And Haridas Thakur said, "See, today I'm not going to survive. Somehow I survived in those 22 marketplaces, but today definitely they're going to kill me." And Nitai was laughing, and Nitai was like, "Who have heard of this kind of order from a Brahman? Who's this Brahman?" They were talking about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How can he give orders? You think he's a king? He's a Brahman, and he's giving orders to go and preach to everybody. Who else haven't heard of this kind of orders? So anyway, they both were laughing, and then they ran away. Jagai and Madhai, because of drinking, their bodies were heavy. They could not follow them, but they were yelling, "You come back here again, and we're going to kill you." So anyway, so Nityanand Prabhu and Haridas Thakur, they went to the house of Shiva Thakur where Mahaprabhu was there, and he gave the report. And Nityanand Prabhu told Mahaprabhu that these two brothers, they're very sinful, but if they take shelter of you, their life will change. Well, Mahaprabhu understood the heart of Nityanand Prabhu, and he said, because you have given them your mercy, very soon they will join us in the Kirtan. And Haridas Thakur was talking to Advaitacharya. Advaitacharya was asking the report, asking what happens in the preaching sessions. Haridas Thakur said, do you have any idea what it is to be like with Nityanand Prabhu? To go and preach? Advaitacharya was saying, "Wait, what happened?" He said, this Nitai is completely out of his mind. Sometimes he goes, knocks at the door, and then he sees there is a cow and the calf, and sometimes he just goes and drinks the milk from the cow, and then he lets the calf open, and the calf goes and drinks the rest of the milk, and then the householders, they come and they start chasing us, and he's younger than me, so he runs away, and I get caught by these householders, and they try to beat me up, but somehow I plead to them that I'm an old man, don't do anything. He is the one who's doing all this. And he says sometimes Nityanand goes and on the market, he sees some young girls and he goes and tells them, oh, are you going to marry me? Will you marry me? Marry me. And then when these girls start crying and shouting and their brothers or father come and he runs away, again they come and catch me and I get in trouble all the time. And today he created such a scene. He went to these two drunkards and plunderers and the rapists, and he is telling them to chant the names of Krishna. It was Krishna's arrangement that I'm alive. Otherwise, they would have killed me. Killed me. He runs away, but they could have caught me. And Advaita Acharya was laughing and laughing, and he was like, "What do we expect? I mean, he's a drunkard, and so drunkard likes the company of drunkards." Of course, Advaita Acharya was speaking in different message. Nityanand Prabhu is drunkard. He is drunk in the love of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But anyway, even Advaita Acharya said if Nityanand Prabhu has decided to give them the mercy, Jagai Madai the mercy, definitely it's going to happen. So what happened few days later, now these Jagai Madai, they would always shift their camps at different places. So they brought their camp close to where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was. And they saw, and again they were doing their regular stuff, drinking and all sorts of sins. And they saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu walking by, and they said, "Oh, you are that Nimai who likes to sing and dance, and why don't you do some singing and dancing in front of us?" And Mahaprabhu just avoided them, and he just came back. But Nityanand Prabhu and Haridas Thakur, they went. And Nityanand Prabhu again told them, "Why don't you chant the names of Krishna?" And Jagai and Madhai, they were angry. "Oh, you came back. What's your name? Who are you? What's your name?" "Oh, my name is Avadhuta." "But why don't you chant the name of Krishna?" Madhai said, "You're not just listen to us. You're very, very stubborn." And he just picked up that earthen pot in which the wine was kept, and with his full force, he was a big guy, with his full force, he hit it at the head of Nityanand Prabhu. Of course, Nityanand Prabhu's body is transcendental, but just to have the pastime, he showed blood coming out of his head. And seeing the blood coming out, Haridas Thakur and other associates, they ran away, they ran back to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to tell him what happened. And Madhai was again going to, and still Nityanand Prabhu was pleading, "Oh, you hit me, it's okay, blood is coming out, okay, but chant the names of Krishna." And again Madhai picked up the pot. Again he was going to hit, but Jagai stopped him. Jagai said, "Madhai, what are you doing? You're crazy. He's already bleeding, and it's not good to hit a sadhu like that." And by that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came over there, and he saw Nityanand Prabhu bleeding, and he saw Madhai holding that pot to hit him again. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got so angry, he immediately summoned Sudarshan Chakra. "Sudarshan Chakra, come!" And Chakra came right away. And seeing Chakra in the hands of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of course, all the effect of wine, the nasha went away of Jagai and Madhai. They fell down at the feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. "Please forgive us." And Nityanand Prabhu also pleaded to him that you didn't come in this incarnation to kill anybody, so please forgive them. So Chakra, Mahaprabhu sent Chakra back, and then everybody told that Jagai actually stopped Madhai from hitting Nityanand Prabhu again. So Mahaprabhu was so pleased with Jagai, and he just picked him up, embraced him. Oh, you saved my Nitai. You have all my mercy. You'll have Krishna Prema because you served and saved Nitai. And Jagai was very happy, and he again fell down at the feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, Madhai, he got up. He was crying. He told Mahaprabhu that we both committed the same crimes, same sins. How come he got your mercy and I don't? Mahaprabhu said, you'll never get my mercy. You make my Nitai bleed, and you think you'll get my mercy? If you want mercy, first you take shelter of lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu. If he forgives you, I'll forgive you. So Madhai, he fell at the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu and begged for forgiveness. Nityananda Prabhu just hugged him and he said, whatever pious activities I have done till today, I give them all to you. This is the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. And when he got that mercy, he fell at the feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and begged for his mercy. And Mahaprabhu forgave him and gave him Krishna. In fact, it is said Madhai got more mercy because he got mercy on Nityananda Prabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu both. But it doesn't mean we go tomorrow to the temple and start hitting Nityananda Prabhu. No, that's not right. So anyway, they both got the mercy and they both got entrance into the Kirtan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That Kirtan which not even Brahmins or any austere persons could enter. Only people with bhakti could enter that Kirtan in the house of Shiva's Thakur. And in that Kirtan, Jagai and Madhai got the entry. And later on, Madhai was very repentant for what he had done so far and how he hit Nityananda Prabhu. And he asked Nityananda Prabhu that how I will be cleansed of all the sins, and I cannot believe I hit you. So Nityananda Prabhu said, both of you, Jagai and Madhai, so the only way to repent is you go and you make a bathing ghat at the Ganges and you clean the ghat every day, and anybody or everybody who comes to that ghat, you serve them, you beg for forgiveness, and whatever they say, you just do it. And chant the names of Krishna. So we had gone to this village, Katwa, where Mahaprabhu had gone to get his head shaved when he took sannyas. So in Katwa, there is a ghat that is called Jagai Madhai Ghat. So both the brothers, then they just created that ghat. They used to clean that ghat up, and everybody would come to that ghat to take a bath in Ganges. They would fall at the lotus feet and beg for forgiveness. And sometimes people, because they were these two brothers were so sinful, they had committed so many sins. And sometimes people would hit them with, slap them or beat them up hit them with rocks or this or that. But both the brothers, they would not retaliate. They would just fall at the lotus feet, ask for forgiveness, beg for forgiveness. In fact, it is also said now on that ghat, anybody who goes on that ghat and takes bath, they'll get Krishna Prem. Because these two brothers were Jai Vijay, who came as Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, and then Ravana and Kumbhakarna, and then Shishupal and Dantavakra. But they knew Gaurang Mahaprabhu is coming, so they also wanted to have Mahaprabhu's mercy, or Nityananda Prabhu's mercy also. So they came as Jagai and Madhai in this incarnation, and they got more mercy, more mercy than anywhere else, even more than Krishna's mercy. And then one day, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Nityananda Prabhu that I'm going to take sannyas because As a sannyasi, people will respect me. So sometimes people don't respect me as a grihastha, and they don't listen to me, and it's not helping me in fulfilling my for which I came to give to give this Harinam Sankirtan everywhere. So as a sannyasi, I would be able to do that. So Mahaprabhu came to Katwa from Navdeep, and he took sannyas there. And then after sannyas, he just wanted to go to Vrindavan. And Nityananda Prabhu, he knew what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would do. So he had, on the way from Katwa to Vrindavan, not too far from Katwa, he had some boys stationed there, and he told the boys, if this kind of sannyasi comes, you just show him towards Shantipur and tell him toward the path towards Ganga, if he asks for the path towards Yamuna. So this is what happened, and the boys told them, oh yes, the Yamuna is over there. And Mahaprabhu came to the Ganga, and he took bath his Ganga, and then he was in ecstasy that he thought he is in Vrindavan. And then he saw Advaita Acharya coming on a boat, and Mahaprabhu said, Advaita, how come you came to Vrindavan? And Advaita said, you're not in Vrindavan, you are in Navdvip only. And this is Ganga, this is not Yamuna. And Mahaprabhu understood, this is Nityananda Prabhu's pastime, doing whatever he had done. So Advaita Acharya said, well, here are some clean and dry clothes, so change your clothes, and you haven't eaten, let's go to Shantipur, let's go to home, and then you will eat, have some prasadam there. And then Nityananda Prabhu had called for Shachi Mata to come over there, because now Mahaprabhu had taken sannyas, so he could not go home. So Shachi Mata came to Advaita Acharya's house, and she stayed there for 10 days, and Mahaprabhu stayed there 10 days, and all the devotees, and Shachi Mata would cook every day for all the devotees and serve them. And after that, Mahaprabhu took permission of Shachi Mata to go to Jagannath Puri. Mata said, go to Jagannath Puri, don't go to Vrindavan. If you're in Jagannath Puri, I'll get your messages, because so many devotees go to Jagannath Puri from here. So that is why, that's one of the reasons Mahaprabhu came to Jagannath Puri after taking sannyas. But anyway, Nityananda Prabhu and other devotees came with them, and many, many, many more pastimes happened, and I cannot cover all of them now. So anyway, we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for these really touching pastimes.
Thank you.
So many times it made us cry.
I know. These are amazing pastimes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Danvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Amazing, Prabhuji. Totally immersing. We were immersed, Prabhuji, and you have pulled us out. So eagerly await tomorrow's session.
So tomorrow again on Nityananda Prabhu's pastimes?
Whatever, Prabhuji, will you not cover? We are feeling so immersing.
Yeah, I think till Gaur Purnima we should have these pastimes only.
Ah, come on. Okay, so tomorrow we'll again have later pastimes.
Haribol, Haribol. Thank you very much.
So I guess we can stop.
Prabhuji, one small request.
Yeah.
Hello. The devotees in this group, they all have reminded me that our Zoom subscription is coming to an end in March sometime. Prabhuji, you are hearing?